In this video, we're going to be making the cow catcher, which is part 9 of our train project. And make sure that when you have your new tab, you label it 9 cow catcher. Alright, so we're going to create a sketch this time. Instead of the front, which we normally do, we're going to be doing it on the top. Alright, so now we're going to put top. Okay, now we're going to add in a line. I'm just going to put it in a little bit randomly. The reason for that is I want to make sure that the center of it, let's see, midpoint of it is connected to here. So what I just did to get to that was go to the constraint tools, find the midpoint one. So that connected the midpoint of our first line we placed in to our origin, which is this dot there. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is add in our dimension for this line. So what I'm drawing right now is actually the underside of this shape right here. So this back dimension is 1.8. Alright, now we're going to draw in our lines. Okay, we want these to be 90 from here. And then I don't want this angle right here to turn into a 90 degree, so that's why I'm kind of making it a little bit pointier than I'd like. And if you didn't get this last line exactly vertical, what we could do is use our constraints again, use vertical, and make sure that is a nice vertical line. So now we can add in our dimensions. So our little side dimensions right here, okay, are 0.25 for both of them. Alright, and then our height of this, we can see that from the bottom. I know it's a little hard to see on here, but it's 1 inch. And then for mine, all of my lines turn black, but if you still have any that are blue, what you are missing is from the edge over here. So I'm just going to place this in. It's going to give me an error, which is totally fine. Oh, didn't give me the error. Okay, so it just did it gray. So it's telling us that this isn't a dimension we can change. It's just one that is just kind of there. So with that dimension, what it is half of our back dimension. So therefore, our 1.8 just divided by 2 gives us 0.9. So just in case you did have a blue line over there, that would fix it up. Alright, so next what we're going to do is put in a plane. It's going to be from the top plane, but we're going to have it go up. Let's see, right here, because we're going to be drawing our top surface. The reason for this is we're going to be using a loft tool in a minute to connect these two surfaces. So this is a distance of 0.75. Alright, so now we're going to make a sketch. Make sure you're getting plane 1, not the top, because if you get on the top, you're going to be drawing on the exact same surface as you were before. We want it on plane 1. Alright, so I'm going to add in a line. I'm going to just do this off to the side. This one I'm going to dimension first, just because sometimes when it moves over to here, it's just hard to see and click on. So I like to dimension it before I place the midpoint in. So for this one, we can see that our dimension is right up here. So it is 1.2. Alright, when you're going to use our midpoint constraint, there we go, right in the center. Alright, we're going to use our line tool again. And I want to make sure that I don't have 90 degree for that. Alright. Again, my last line was blue, so I'm going to use the vertical constraint and make sure it's vertical again. Now I'm going to make sure I have my side dimensions. So these are actually the same as before. So they're a 1/4 inch. So a 1/4 inch is 0.25. Alright, and then from here, I'm going to dimension from the tip to the midpoint again, and that'll give us the length of right here. So that would be, oh, there it is, Okay, so it is 0.75. So again, mine is all black, but if yours is not all black, what you are missing is this dimension. Oh, come on, computer. There we go. This dimension right here. So I can't change this dimension at all because it is just referencing something else. But what it's referencing is this back line. So that's 1.2 divided by 2 gives us 0.6. Alright, so now what we can do with our two sketches, and yours should look like this, so they should be on two different planes, our top plane and our plane 1. If yours are merged together into one, you're just going to have to fix that. Alright, next we're going to be using our loft. So we're going to click on our first sketch, then our second sketch, and you can see that they kind of like swoop together. So now we can see that they're one solid piece. And if you're having issues with this, make sure it says solid and new. If it has anything else on here, you might have a little bit of an issue. Alright, so from here we're going to actually hollow it out. So we're going to flip over to the bottom. You don't have to go to exactly the bottom, but so you can see the bottom. We are going to use the drop-down menu next to fillet. Yours might actually show up by itself. Mine is kind of all mushed. So we want shell. So what shell does is it hollows out your object. So I'm going to tell it what face to remove, and I want it to remove this very bottom face. And the dimension I want for this is right here, which is 0.1. And that happens to be the default, so the default's what we want. Right. So our next thing we're going to do is cut out the, I don't know what to call them, but I always call them windows. It seems to describe them quite well. This little shape here and this little shape here. So we're going to put a sketch on this surface. If for some reason you can't put a sketch on that surface, the most likely cause of that is because when you were making your two original sketches, something's a little bit out of whack. So if it's a little bit off, the two window surfaces are going to be slightly curved, and you can't make a sketch on a slightly curved surface without doing special things, and we want it to be flat. So what I'm going to do now is use my projected edge, just click on the entire edge, and then, well, where's the tool I'm thinking of? Ah, here it is. Okay, so it's with the 2D fillet. If you drop down, you'll find offset. So I want an offset from here. Okay, I want it to go inside, not outside. And I want that dimension to be right here. It is 0.1. Alright, so that makes it same on the entire thing. So now I can use the extrude tool, and I'm going to extrude. I want it to go, let's see, remove. And how much do I want to remove? We can see right here that I want it to be 0.05. Let's see if it's cutting out how much I think it should. Yep. Okay, so that's our first window, and we're just going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So again, create our sketch, and let's see if I can use the offset tool without projecting our lines. Oh, nice, we can. Sometimes in some programs it lets you, in other programs you need it, so you got to figure out which one your program likes. Alright, so we're going to flip that in, and again we need to change our dimension to the same as before, which is 0.1. We are now going to extrude our shape. We want it to go in, and again that is 0.0. Yep. So 0.05. There we go. And oh, I have it set for add. I want it to be remove. All right, there we go. That's what it should be looking like. All right, so now both of our windows are in place. So now what we're going to do is flip over to our back. put in our sketch. This time we're going to put in 3 circles. So when you're putting these, make sure it doesn't catch on anything else. So sometimes you'll have like the yellow lines pop up if they're dashed or something. Yeah, like this one. Make sure you don't have that. You want them all to be kind of loose and you can move them wherever you need to. Now we're going to dimension where these are going to be placed. So, let's see. Oh, that's not the one I want. I want from here to here. And I'll make sure this is right in the center. So this would be half of that. So that is 0.6. And, oh, my number is mushed in there. There we go. So what I did was I just took my dimension from this top edge, which is 1.2, and just divide that by 2, and that gives us our dimension for where this should be placed, which is 0.6. Alright, so then getting from our next one. Alright, so this one is right here. So that is 0.625. And our next one is 1.25. Alright, and our dimension from the side is going to be a 1/2 inch. So that's 0.5. And from the very bottom, that's what you can see right here. And from the very bottom, it is 0.125. Alright, so now all of our center points are locked in place. So you can see how that the center of each of our circles is now black instead of blue. Alright, now what we can do is dimension our diameter. So our diameter, oh, where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, so our diameter is 0.125. Alright, we can actually use one of the constraint tools, and we can use equal. We can say that, hey, we want this one equal to this, and this one equal to this, and they are all going to be the same now. So next what we're going to do is extrude all 3 of the circles that we just added in. Again, I like to go to the edge so I can kind of see what I'm doing. And I want it to come out, let's see, yep, right here. So 0.125 inches. Alright, and now for the last little bit at the end, we need to add in our chamfer. So we're going to click on our chamfer here, and our dimension for this, we can find it right there on the drawing. It is 0.01. And we need to add that to the edge of all of our pieces. And, oh, alright, so this program, we can actually do them all in one. We don't have to do them all separately. So that's nice. So now we have our chamfers in place. We have our windows cut out. It is hollow on our inside, so that means our part is complete. Alright, so that is it for the cow catcher part file, and in the next video we're going to go over the work drawing.